what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Hello and welcome into the Thursday edition of your show. My name is Gary. I am your host, and this is still, as far as we know, the only, and I repeat, the only live show in Saskatoon going 4 to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Back in the day, they called that scheduled viewing, and we're so damn proud to bring it back to you. And thank you so much for joining us during these wild, amazing shows that we love to do, again, totally live. We used to say we made up categories and said we're number one, but it got lame, so we're not doing that anymore. Instead, we like to jump right into the greatest camera in the history of cameras. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Maggie Cam. We got another fluffy butt there. By the way, Maggie threw her name in to run for Prime Minister, so feel free to follow the vision and the integrity of that beautiful, majestic steed. The Maggie Cam for our fantastic pals over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. When you walk into those doors, Mike and or Rochelle will greet you along with their puppy Leroy. Look at her. Look at this. Leroy, who's dating Maggie. Yeah, see, dragging too far now. We got dragging on the ones and twos today. He's trying to fix it, and it's just going south quick. And here she comes back. Again, new buckle-up collars ready for you there. They have Flintstone themed, SpongeBob theme. They got Marvel. They got Batman. Anything you need. It's all there for you. And matching leashes as well. The greatest cleaning station in the history of mankind, and so much more. Your life and your pet's life gets better the instant you walk in to Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. As we got a good face shot there. We got a nice little butt cam. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. So today, we're going to get into a couple of previously recorded segments. We sent out a social media post yesterday talking about what I described on our group chat as a great get, as it is both timely and local, which is what we're all about around here. And that'll be the upcoming interview with the great Les Lazaruk, the voice of the Blades, as his bobblehead night comes up very, very soon, as well. Our friends Croker and Coach Mays are also set in for that incredible interview, so we will get to that soon. Oh, forgot about this. See, I love setting these. Right before we get into this, and I guess I should have told you guys, Arby's Twitter feed. Has anyone ever seen Arby's Twitter feed before? Oh my God. All right, we'll work on this in between. I'll see what we can do, because the Arby's Twitter feed is just, it's like the Hansel of Twitter feeds right now. Just so hot right now. So we will get to that. But first, Thursdays around here, they always begin with a very special friend. Let's go ahead and run that one, Dragon. Another Thursday has arrived, and another Matt Young from CTV has arrived.
Hey,
Give me
man.
some,
Hey,
brother.
how are you
Welcome,
doing?
welcome. I'm doing
Good
great.
to be here. Yeah.
I need that Matt Young energy. It's been a long week.
Rise it up.
That's it. It's like what's that? Altered Beast. Rise
There you go.
from
There
the
you
grave.
go. There you go.
Yes,
There you go.
that
Yeah.
is us.
Good to be here. How are you doing?
Doing great, and I'm
Good.
so grateful that you give us some time every Thursday.
Absolutely.
We do
I love
video game
it.
restoration, video game modding, then we talk sports.
And
everything.
it's a nice little break from sort of the grind of the news day. It gets all busy in there.
Yeah, I told you to dress up. Why didn't you dress up today?
I know. I should have. I had the black tuxedo, but it's at the dry cleaner.
So's mine.
Next best thing, you get a tan suit. There you
It
go.
looks good, dude. You look great. I really like
thanks,
that.
man.
Very
Thanks.
well done.
Thanks. But I thought, we love talking about video games.
Yes,
we love talking about stuff just going on in Saskatoon, sports and all that sort of thing. This is kind of a unique show because we like to tell people how they can improve their video game systems, preserve their video game systems, talk about the technology. And you brought up a unique problem that actually you have that we can kind of sort of address right on this show.
Absolutely. We have way too much fun playing Super Smash Bros. Here on the N64.
There you go. I've seen it, by the way. They have it right over there.
We have a Twitch stream. We stream on Twitch.
There you go.
Dufferin Ave Media.
Check it out, by the
way.
way. Check it out, by the way.
And we go a little too hard, and we broke all 4 of our controllers.
Oh, I see that. And you're not the only one. Lots of people end up doing that.
I said, if only we had a guy that could fix these things. And then,
Wow. Wow. You ran into a guy who's fixed these things.
Very excited.
So, and a lot of these remedies they're really easy. I remember about a year ago, we kind of did sort of a quick one on a controller. But we have Gary Nichols' controller right here.
A lot of losses on that
And
thing.
he's been blaming this for losing. So maybe if we fix his controller, he'll be a little better.
I'm a little bit worried that I won't have excuses anymore. That's
there
for sure.
you go. Alrighty. So a common problem with Nintendo 64 controllers, as everybody knows, is this right here, the joysticks. Okay. And the problem is that they get limp or they get weak, and people will often complain about a white powder that's in there that they get. And it gets kind of chock full in there, and then the joystick doesn't really work that well, and it doesn't control your movement. So we're going to show you a little bit about. We're going to diagnose the problem today, and then next week we're going to fix the problem.
Perfect.
Right? How do you fix it? So today's going to be diagnosing it, how to take apart your controller so you can have a look and maybe see what else might be wrong. And then next week, we're going to show you the remedies to get things fixed. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take apart your Nintendo 64 controller, and we're going to switch the camera.
You
do you want
ready?
to switch the camera? Let's
Here we
do it.
go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And we're going to show you exactly how a Nintendo 64 controller, how it comes apart. Now, obviously, you're going to want to be careful, right? We're kind of dealing with electronics here, but certainly, I mean, it's obviously not plugged in or anything like that. Now, your Nintendo 64 controller is going to have some screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2 in the back here. And I've kind of pre-loosened these, so I'm just gonna take them out here. And they're not that hard to do. Sometimes, well, I guess I should say, sometimes they can get stuck. It depends on, I guess, when the last time anybody unscrewed your controller. It could be 20 years.
Yeah, they'll be in there pretty good if you haven't messed with them.
It always, by the way, helps if you can to use a screwdriver with a magnet on the end of it so that it holds it, because you do not want to lose those screws. And I'll just put them on the I'll put them on the towel here, and you'll find that a Nintendo 64 controller doesn't have as many parts as you think. Like, it does, but it doesn't. They're much more basic than I've taken apart a PS5 one. That's different.
Dude.
And we can do one on that one day, although those aren't usually wearing out by now. But maybe we could look at PlayStation 2, right? PlayStation. If you have a PlayStation 1 controller, we'll do that too. Now,
For sure.
we have 2 screws, one right here and one right here. Okay, so we're going to take those out right there. And they just use a basic, I always forget, it's the plus sign.
Phillips.
Phillips, right.
Yes.
Phillips
Son of a
screwdriver.
plumber right here.
There you go. There you go.
All
okay.
about that.
There you go.
We got
So-
Flathead, Phillips, and Robertson.
That's right. That's
Look at
right.
me,
That's
I'm a
right,
tradesman.
That's right. So we're gonna
Don't ask me any other questions. about
Well,
anything
I
else.
always forget that. I always forget which one's the flathead and which one's the.
Yeah.
I just call it the plus sign. The other one's
good one.
Robertson. Yeah. So
Everyone
you got,
knows what you're talking about.
There you go. And so we got all these screws out. Then we got to take these. They're 2 tiny ones on either side of the control pack plug-in here, right? So you'll see down in here. This is where, if I can get it into the light a little bit
there you go.
better. They'll be right here and right here on the inside, and you'll see them there. So you want
Pretty hidden, hey?
You want to grab those. They're pretty small too, so you want a nice, a fine tip screwdriver if you can, like I got. And we'll take these out of here, and we'll. Now we could just take it, and we should be able to just lift this off. And it's easier actually to do it this way. Lift the back off, right?
There you
And
go,
there is the
abracadabra.
inside of your Nintendo 64 controller. Now, I mean, you're gonna have your L and R buttons here, and these usually can just come out just like this. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Very
So those
easy.
come out there. And then what we'll do is I can see a little bit better in the light. So here, right here is where your controller pack would plug in, right? Remember the controller packs, they had those, right? And then this right here, this little thing, this is what your Z button actually presses up against, right?
Okay.
Okay. And then right here, this little connector pad connects this to the controller. So there's a couple of things we need to do. One, we need to take off this little pad here. Okay, so we disconnect this, and usually what I use is I'll just take a screwdriver, and I'll try and show you here, and just take this out, this little thing right here. I can hold it up a bit more. Okay, you want to take that out. Okay, it just kind of
man, see, it's so scary to me.
it just kind of unplugs. Okay, just kind of unplugs, right, and that's it. And then what you have is you have a screw here. You have another screw there. And then you got a screw there, And to take off the joystick, you got to undo those. And you also want to take this little thing right here, and you want to just pop that. It's in between two little clasps. It'll usually just kind of pop out of place like that.
There you go.
Okay. So now you got that thing out of there, right? So now all you're left really is this gray box. Okay.
All right.
So what we want to do is we want to take this and just sort of undo it there.
And that's the box that just holds.
This is the box that actually holds the joystick in
okay.
here. Okay. And we'll undo that screw. Okay. And then we'll undo that screw. And you undo these 3 screws. Okay. And then what you do is you take this off, and boom. Now you have essentially your joystick is going to be encapsulated in here. Now I'm going to move this up. Okay. So here is your joystick.
Look at that thing.
Okay, and we have our 3 screws. Now, you can see it's a little bit. The best way in the light is show it. It's a little bit limp. Okay, it started to kind of, and I can see. I don't know if it shows it perfectly in the light, but you can see there's going to be some of that white powder that's in there and white gunk. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this and there's another screw right there. That little black thing.
Yeah.
That's a screw.
So many screws.
So we're going to take that screw out.
It's like a puzzle.
Once you want to hold this together while you do it, because this screw, once you take it out, it's kind of like bowing apart on you.
Oh yeah,
but
spring-loaded.
Once we take this off, and I've taken that screw out there, then it's starting to. You can see it's starting to come apart.
Yeah.
There's these 2 little clasps on the end right here.
Okay.
And you're going to want to kind of bend those back. I usually use your fingernails.
Okay.
Right, so you put your fingernails right in there if you can, and bend those back, and then the joystick should slowly start to slide out. It's not easy, but you will get it. Come on. I'm going to have to maybe just twist this a little bit.
You're trying to finesse it right now, and eventually it's got to,
There we go. There
King
we go.
Kong it, yeah.
We got it out.
Smash it.
Got it out. Okay, and it will just come apart like that.
Look at that.
Okay.
Here we go.
So then you look at it. Okay, now.
Holy moly.
You can kind of see, and I'll hold this up to the light a little bit. What you have here is you have a little U-shaped bracket that sort of spins back and forth left to right.
Okay.
I'm going to pull that out. Okay, and I'm just going to take it out just like that. And you can see on the camera, I can hold this up, it's got a bit of, it's supposed to be black, but you can see it's got some white on it there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I can actually take it and right over here beside this piece of paper, I can dump it out there. And you'll see some of the white powder. You can see it right there that's gotten on this thing. Okay, and then, move this piece of paper over here. You have this little box here, and it's got kind of a concave bottom, right? Like a bottom. The bottom of it sort of is in the shape of a spherical shape, I guess. Okay, you take this out as well, and it shouldn't be attached really. Well, actually, the first thing that you should do is probably just take out this little circuit board. It comes out easily, and then you take this thing out here.
See, this is one of those situations now where I would get this far and then I'd say, oh no, I've made a horrible choice.
What did I do?
I've just taken everything apart and I have no idea what I'm doing.
What you'll note, it's tough to pick up on camera, but inside here there's going to be a whole bunch of white and gray powder.
That's it.
Okay, and I can even dump it out here.
Look at all that garbage.
Right, and you can see there's more of it. Okay, this is the powder that you are seeing inside the joystick. Okay, this is what people, when they talk about that white powder, this is the powder that they're seeing. Okay, now, what that white powder is your joystick, which is right here, okay, is made up of plastic parts, okay? And what happens is when it swivels around over 10, 15, 20 years, it starts to degrade, and the plastic literally starts to crumble. Okay, and that's what you're seeing. Some people wondered, is like, that's sort of be some weird powder lubricant or what is that stuff?
Anthrax or
something. That's what it is,
Yeah.
okay? And this part here, and I'll try and hold it up to the light, this is supposed to be black, but it's not. It's just covered in powder.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing we got to do is clean that off,
Okay.
okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to spin this little bracket here around, and it'll come right off, and it should come right outside off the joystick end. And I'll put this back down, and I'll hold this up again, and you can, like, this isn't, it's supposed to be an entirely black piece, but you can see it's covered in white powder, and I can dump more of it on there.
Jeez.
Okay. And you can see there's a little bit more there. Some of it's kind of stuck to the piece. So what we got to do is we got to take this, we got to clean this off. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this down right here. Okay. And then we got to take this piece, right?
Yeah.
And we got to clean this off. Now, I want to show something that should, I'm going to wipe off some of this powder. I'm going to show you something here. Okay. Now, on this piece of paper, you can see this bracket, and you can see how it's got like a little, I want to say a little space there. Do you see the little space?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And I can put something in there. Like if I want, I can put something in that space.
Okay.
Right. Okay. This has got a little space in between. As you show it a little bit better here. You can see that little space there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What's also happened is the two brackets on either side, they've started to bend apart.
Oh,
okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of try and bend them back together a little bit.
Tighten it up, yeah.
Tighten it up, okay? So it's a little tighter. Then what we're going to do is on next week's show, we're going to clean all of this off, okay? In fact, I can do some of the cleaning right now. I'm going to grab some, and I just use isopropyl for this, but water's good. You use isopropyl, okay? Now, obviously, be careful, okay? It's toxic stuff. I'm not going to spray it right now because I'm not wearing gloves, but you can use water or something like that, and we're gonna clean all this off next week and clean all the powder, and then we're also going to, now here's your joystick here. There'll be a little spring.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. You can take that spring out of here, and then you back your joystick out. Okay, and then you have the actual joystick, and you see there's it's hard to pick up on camera because it's gray, but there's powder all over this thing too. And then this, okay, that's supposed to be gray. That's supposed to be gray, but it's not. It's just as you look at it, it's just all covered in powder, right? Right. So we want to get all that stuff out of there because the longer that powder stays in there, the worse it's going to get. You want to attack it early. Eventually, you get to a point where almost at a point of no return.
Yeah.
But yours, Gary, is actually pretty good.
This is good news.
I think that you can, for the most part, still salvage this and have a pretty good controller that will work just fine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set these down for now, okay? Next week, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to clean off some of these parts, okay? And we're going to grease it all up. We're going to put it back together, okay? Awesome. And we'll screw it back, and then we'll actually plug it into your Nintendo 64, okay?
Yeah.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to use it, and you'll be able to see that it'll actually feel much better. And it won't take too long. And we'll kind of get her all done, and that's really what you want to do. We're also gonna, I think I mentioned, we're gonna put some grease in these parts because that's really the design flaw with these is there doesn't seem to be any lubricant.
Yeah.
And so there's a bit of hobby grease that you can use to kind of clean this up. So I'm actually gonna leave this like this. I'm gonna leave this here. Yeah, we'll switch cameras. I'm gonna leave this like this, and what we'll do is next week when we come back. Everybody out there at home, you kids out there, as Don Cherry used to say. There you go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna finish cleaning her up. Now we've diagnosed what the problem is.
Nice.
We're gonna finish cleaning her up, and then we're gonna put it back together. And Gary Nickel will have a much better Nintendo 64 controller. It'll almost feel as good as new.
It's going to be no more excuses is all I'm hearing. No
there
more
you go.
excuses, and I'm going to be very
That's
sad.
right. You'll probably still lose to me, though.
Yeah. Dude, I lose to everybody. Well, that's nothing new for me. CTV's Matt Young in the house. This has been part one of a two-part series.
That's right.
Trying to get rid of all of Gary's excuses when he plays Super Smash Bros. With
and
all
improve your gaming experience.
That's
there
the one, too.
Next time you tune on a Twitch screen, it should be better.
Hell yeah, buddy. Thank you again. I always appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
100%.
So there you go. The great Matt Young from CTV every Thursday here on your show. Thank you to him again. Such a great dude. I always say whenever you're tired and you just don't have much energy, hang around that guy and he just amps you up. Fantastic. As we continue the Thursday edition of your show. here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. We have some breaking news to report to all Blue Jays fans out there. Today is a very good day as John Heyman, I believe he's of the New York Times, New York Post, reporting your Toronto Blue Jays have signed the great Max Scherzer. 1 year, $15 million. More details to come. But Heyman is saying Scherzer to the Blue Jays, which is very, very exciting. Again, if you're a Jays fan, as pitching is always tough to load up on, and to bring in a wily vet like that dude who's done a lot of great things, very interesting. So we will break that down tomorrow, I believe, and get a little more deep into baseball as it is coming around again very soon. Now, back to business, as we've had one of our funnest interviews in this incredible studio. We call it the Dufferin Avenue Media Network studio. It's inside the SCS Clubhouse right there. Shout out to Sotner Concrete Services. Those are our boys. The great Les Lazaruk, 31 years as the voice of the Saskatoon Blades. He has a bobblehead night going on. I'm going to be repeating myself as we jump into this, because I always try to find fun ways to introduce these things. We got Croker, we got Mazer, we got a great talk to get you ready for a huge, huge night, not just for the team, but for this incredible city of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Dragon, take it away. This Friday night, a legend is being honored, and I am honored to be sitting beside said legend. And we even have a teaser here. We have a bobblehead right in front of you. This is going to be very, very exciting. We got Les Lazaruk in the house, the voice of the Blades, the man for so long doing this thing. We also got our man Croker here.
Yep.
No one cares.
The
No
best morning
Absolutely.
show host on earth from 92.9 The Bull. And we
Yep.
got Coach Mazer here from the All the Way Around table and many other
right.
things. And we are celebrating today, my friend.
We are.
This is so cool. Everyone always talks about bobbleheads. How cool would it be to have your own bobblehead? We have bobbleheads on here. Is this your first bobblehead?
It is definitely the first bobblehead. Hopefully the last one.
You're
Because
not
this,
excited?
this thing, well, no, it's okay. I'm honored. I'm thrilled. I'm humbled.
Yes.
I'm also somewhat sheepish about this because I don't score goals. I don't stop pucks. All I do is talk. And everybody seems to think it's a big deal. And it's nice. Don't get me wrong. Like I say, I'm humbled by it all. But God, there's got to be players that are more worthy of getting a bobblehead than little old me.
I can do this real quick. I can just relate to you. Sorry there, Coach, but I got to get this out. The first time they put me on a bus, a picture of me on a
That's
damn
right.
bus.
I remember that.
wow.
I
Sneaking this
despise.
game.
No, it's
Hey,
good.
Gary?
No,
I like this.
I despised that bus, and I told my boss I don't want to do it. I hate it. We got to take it. I was like, "Oh, it's a show. You have to promote it. You're doing it." And we fought until the next time the bus thing came around. I said, "I'm not doing it." He said, "You have to." I said, "Well, I'm not." He said, "Well, okay." And you imagine how that back and forth goes.
Yes.
And then my compromise to get around it was, can we put Maggie on the bus?
Ah, good.
And they says, "Oh, maybe we can." And that was my way out of it. So the second bus had Maggie on it, and it was way better.
Yeah.
But I know that feeling
Yeah,
of
oh, yeah.
this is obnoxious to me. I can't imagine how other people are going to feel about it. And I learned that you just have to let people enjoy it.
Well, that's exactly it. It's not up to me. I mean, it wasn't my idea to
you
have
didn't
the
go there
bobblehead.
saying
It's the
make
Blades.
one.
It's the Blades' idea, and they want to do it. Let them go ahead, and I'll just go with the flow, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's fans of the New England Patriots. I won't say what social media presence, but he refers to himself as winning more Super Bowls than other fans. So I would argue that has there been a goal for the Blades in the past years that you haven't called?
Well, okay, so this is 31. This is my 31st season.
Yeah.
I've missed 25-ish games because we did Hilltops football back in the day from 2003 to 2013. And the idea was back then was I would go on the road with whichever team was going on the road on a particular weekend. And the current voice of the Rough Riders, Dave Thomas, would be the guy doing the other game. So sometimes it would be me on the road with the Hilltops, Dave at home doing a Blades game, or me on the road with the Blades and Dave doing the Hilltops here. So, yes, I've missed a few goals.
But you've called away games and home games.
Yes.
31 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 80 games a season. So probably roughly 530 goals a year.
Yeah,
team
total teams. Yeah,
Those dark days, maybe more like 300. You
well,
know, I don't know.
yeah, 300 against 184. Yeah.
So I'm not great at math, but I would say you've probably been a part of 80 to 85% of all the goals the Blades have scored in the past 31 years.
Yeah,
So
something.
I would
along
say
that
that's
line.
worthy
Crazy
of
stat.
a bobblehead.
That is crazy.
That's worthy of a full roster of bobbleheads.
If
you
you
ask
say
me.
so,
Yeah.
I'll accept it.
poses.
Oh, that'd
I'm
be
expecting
good.
at least
Yeah.
a roster of
And like
bobbleheads.
different movements and stuff.
Have you guys seen the shirt that just came out?
Oh Jesus.
So man, they brought out a shirt from
Yeah.
his he used to work for
I worked for-
CGOB back in the day.
Yeah, but that picture, okay, is from my first radio job at CKLQ in Brandon.
Oh, that's even
Back in the early 80s.
Here we go.
That picture is from the Brandon University Bobcats program from the 1982-83 season. We did Brandon University hockey, men's and women's basketball. And so the picture they took that was in the program, back then I had hair.
It's a
all
fro.
over the place.
It's not just a hair, it's a fro.
It was a fro.
glorious.
It was a fro back then, yeah.
And
It
it's
was-
got the big
that.
CJWW logo
Yeah,
on it too.
yeah.
It looks awesome, man.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he's got the
it's-
bobbleheads, he's got the shirts. I'll always remember when the Blades ordered Kyle Krinkovic bobbleheads one
Yes.
year
Woo.
and traded him like a week later.
Yep.
So
Well,
the bobbleheads were all just
instant
like,
collector
I
item?
mean,
Yeah.
We all loved Crank. He was a
Yeah.
fan favorite, but they traded him to Seattle.
That's right.
And it was like, well, what do we do here? And that's kind of, I think, when the Les Lazaruk bobblehead idea really started to gain some momentum because it was like, we can't have this happening.
Well, I think it came up, yeah, but there was always a season ticket holders barbecue now at the end of the season. So back last June, we're at SaskTel Center. All the season ticket holders are there. We're doing a question and answer thing. People wrote on pieces of paper, and they brought them up to me as the MC to ask. Brennan Sawney was still there,
Yeah.
and Wasey Rabbit, and ask various questions. And one of the questions was, who's going to be the bobblehead next season? Those guys don't know. They have nothing to do with it. Question goes out to Tyler Warwick, the VP of Business Operations for everybody with regards to the Blades, Berries, and the Rush. And he says, geez, I don't know. Maybe you. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, and Grizzly Adams has a
There
beard,
it is.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Did have a beard.
And
Literally.
lo and behold,
Yeah.
they decide to do that. Like they
Amazing.
they mentioned it to me, and it's like, "You're sure? You really want to do that?" Yeah, we want to do that. Okay.
I love it though. Give Jeff Hayes a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Give Hilty a bobblehead.
Hilty,
give all
yeah.
the
Boys.
legendary
Oh, yeah.
guys behind
Yeah.
the scenes. Give them a bobblehead. 'cause
Absolutely.
They deserve it.
I
And
agree.
especially in the business of junior hockey, where again, sometimes you're not going to have those guys that are around for 4 or 5 years that have that fan notoriety that are worth the bobblehead. So
dude.
I mean, the Nolan Meyer bobblehead is still my favorite thing I have in my basement. That's awesome because he's a
Yes.
legend, but
Yeah.
doesn't happen too much often now
No.
in junior hockey. So
The ones I've got are incredible. I've got a Dalton Thrower one.
that's a good one.
I've
That's
got
a
an
good one.
Andre Makarov
That
one.
was also a good one.
I have a Matej Stransky one. Yeah.
They made a Stransky.
They made a Stransky
one? Who
bobblehead.
else was on that team?
Oh.
There had to be someone better than. No offense.
Ah,
to
Stransky was a
but-
good player.
Stransky was real good.
Yeah,
Stransky
but
was good. Stransky
Bobblehead
scored.
good?
Stransky
was
scored the
sneaky.
big goals in the Memorial Cup game in 2013
Yeah.
when they beat Halifax.
True.
5-2.
Okay. You
That
know
was
what? Circle
sneaky.
gets the square.
And then-
Circle gets the square. Okay.
But that led to who did he go on with? Texas Stars, I believe.
Yeah,
Had
yeah,
a
he
little
was- he was
stint
Dallas's
there.
organization, yeah.
He did pretty good there.
Yeah.
That 2013 Mem Cup was. Yeah, I lived there. It was awesome. It was, and
You lived there. I lived there.
lived there.
It was hilarious. It was great. I mean, that Memorial Cup where we did every game, and I was worried because I also have legendary ability to come down with colds and lose my voice. And so, of course, the story about how you take vinegar shots in order to try and help that out so that you can continue on. I was worried that I'd catch a cold and I'd lose my voice in the middle of the Memorial Cup. Luckily, we didn't. And I had some great people who were on me, too. I mean, besides Dave Thomas, we had Peter Labardius.
Oh,
Worked with me.
Labardius.
He
Love
was
that.
great. Cody Nicolette, of course, was our color commentator at the time at home. And then we also had Dave Hunchak, who worked out with us. And it was great. We had a great time covering that Memorial Cup.
That's awesome. So this Friday,
Yes.
bobblehead night, going down, get this man's bobblehead. I feel like this is going to be one of those big time collector ones because, like you said, you spent 31 years perfecting this bobblehead.
Yeah,
We're
perfecting
ready.
it.
We're ready for it.
Oh,
That's right.
And I better perfect my
Wait, did you-
penmanship.
That's
That's all
a
I
great
know.
question. Do you get any say in what the pose is or how it's going to look, or they just
Nope.
take the?
I like
Do
the
you
one
get a
they
cut in
took
the
though.
sales? You get a cut in the
No, I
sales?
get, what sales?
What sales? They're
What
giveaways.
sales? They're
Yeah, the
giveaways.
That's a good point.
The sales that people are buying. them.
Exactly, right? There's
Yeah,
going to be
no,
so many more people.
no
on
sales.
Friday.
Yeah.
I do not profit from this
We've been
whatsoever.
getting texts at the radio station, hey, could we buy those?
Yeah, I know.
Because, again, only
It's
the
a big
first 1,000
collector
people are
thing,
getting
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Big
Are
collector
you
deal.
Going to be setting up a table? Or you?
No,
No. It's
no.
just
Well, I
hand
mean,
them in and you're doing
post
your
game
job.
show up in the backstage lounge. If anybody brings them up there after that game on Friday against Wenatchee, yeah, I'll probably take the moment. If you have a Sharpie, I will take a moment because I'm
This
not
is-
going to have one with me.
Man, you are. I just see so many similarities in how you handle spotlight. I'm the exact same way. It
Yeah,
just makes
well,
me
no.
uncomfortable.
Well, I am uncomfortable.
I'm-
Thanks.
I'm right there with you.
I'm there.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So I'm
Absolutely.
struggling with you. So I'm trying to tell you, you have support here.
I appreciate that, Gary.
We're here.
Damn it, I appreciate that.
language, Mr. Lazara. Come
Whoa,
on.
yay now.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. So the other big thing going on here, and my both technical and content producer, Coach Mazer, has sent me a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. Like, look, we got bobblehead night. We got the past decade team. Is
The
that where we're
all-decade
starting?
team.
Is that where we're starting?
Yeah.
Okay.
The all
Let's
quarter
go all
quarter
decades,
quarter
yeah.
century.
All quarter century team.
Quarter century from
2000
2000
to
to
25. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I want to get into that a little bit, and not necessarily dissect it, but I guess we're just gonna sort of go through it and
Yeah.
name the people, the players, if you will.
Who would be on yours kind of thing, right? I think
Yes.
you have yours
Okay.
ready, hey?
Yeah, because I have one too, and
Okay.
we have
Okay,
these
good,
things
good.
ready. But
Yeah.
should we talk about the actual one first, or what? How do you want to do this, Mace?
Yeah, what was the one the Blades went with, the official site there?
Yeah, I got
Well,
the
it was
first
a
team.
traditional team 1, team 2. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just like the NHL.
So
would
we
do
can
it.
announce this right now: the Blades quarter century team based on your votes.
It's maybe past decade team. I think past 10 years or quarter century.
It says quarter
Quarter
century.
century.
My
on it.
bad.
Yep, no, 25 years. Yeah.
Hey, dude.
Sorry.
If we ever cared about being factual here, we'd
Yeah,
be in
fair
so
enough.
much trouble.
Content producer over
Yeah,
here.
like this. It's all about getting that content out. That's what all the bosses tell us. So we got Brendan Lazowski, Josh Nichols, Igor Sidorov, Tanner Molendyke, Mike Green, and Braden Hopi. A couple capitals there at the end. That's something.
I mean, it's tough when, like, if I'm my kid talking, 100%. But for me,
Yeah, well, we
I'm
have.
pulling on other time, and then I got to look at because we're getting so old, like 25
That
years.
was the
I'm
hard
just like,
part
oh,
for
wait.
They did a pretty good job of getting all the kind of decades, though, or
Yeah,
all the kind of,
100%.
you know,
Yeah,
like little
for
eras
sure.
of the team. Like, they
Yeah.
got them all in there, right?
Yeah.
Lizzo, I love Lizzo, but I was kind of maybe thinking the second team instead. I don't know, but
Yeah, his
He-
points are up there.
I know,
so.
right? But I don't know.
And like I think just for me, Greener and Hopi, like those are legends.
Yeah,
and not just
I would have
from
put Meyer.
here all the way up.
So I would have put Meyer
would?
on the first
Of course
team.
you would.
And I
Meyer's
don't-
the all-time WHL wins record holder,
Yeah.
right? And he's from Yorkton, and
That's
I guess
it.
you know Hopi's from closer, I guess. So that argument
Marshall,
sucks. So, but yeah, Meyer I think had more success with the Blades. Hopi had more success, obviously,
After.
post-Blades.
And that's
So
the
which
thing.
way?
Well,
do
the
you go?
jury's still out, you know. Nolan Meyer could still win a bunch of cups. You never know.
Well,
The-
Well,
The
Well, I
junior
mean,
hockey
yeah.
is about development.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's like you develop these stars, and then you see what they've done after they leave the Blades too. And I think sometimes that could be factored in as well. But Holtby was pretty popular. I have a fun story, and it might not be true, but it's how I bought a pair of hockey skates once. But I went into Al Anderson's because I had a bunch of buddies that I played hockey and senior baseball with, and on the rack there was some 9.5 Easton Stealth hockey skates, and guys like I was looking and I'm like, well, I don't really at the time probably expensive skates for $500 or something like that, and I'm like, I don't have it in the budget, fellas. They're like, well, what about these? And I'm like, they're all gray. They're okay. I try them on. Well, they're pretty comfortable. These are good. And Jared Bain at the time was like, well, have you know that Mike Green just dropped off a bunch of his demo skates right before he went to Washington after he left. And I was just like, did he get traded at the end of his Blade career?
I
Nope.
don't think so.
No, I think he
He
went all
was
the way,
there,
yeah.
and then he went. Okay, so this story holds up so far. And then I fit them on, and it must have had me. So I still have them. They're falling apart like crazy. But I just like
They
I
meant
hopped on
Mike
the-
Green from Dalmany. That's
Yeah,
what they meant.
exactly.
The other
Yeah.
Mike
The other
Green.
Mike,
Just
yeah.
another
And he-
totally random Mike
and
Green.
that might be true.
Yeah.
You know, we all have those stories. Like I don't know if they still do, but they used to have them. So I was told. a end of season sort of Blades auction where you could buy all of the players' equipment and stuff like that. That's what I was told.
They
Is
may
that
still
something?
have
Yeah.
it. Maybe.
So for my birthday, way back, I'm not sure, and I guess we could figure it out just by the timeline. But Trevor Robbins goalie pads were a gift for me, or to me, from my family for a birthday.
Nice.
And having Trevor Robbins goalie pads, like I wasn't a goalie, I'm a horrible goalie, but just having those pads got me into so many different pickup games, be it on the street or at the outdoor rink over at John Lake School. They'd be like, oh, those are Trevor Robbins goalie pads. And they had like the TR on them. They were like legit, and they were way bigger than me, so they went up to like pretty much here. But I would just I would walk around things. I cherished them because that was one of your heroes. Like you had his hockey card that you got from the cop out front of John Lake School, right? And so it's like I got those pads, and it was so cool to have that moment. But I imagine that's what the Mike Green thing would be like these guys that you idolize, and then you get these mementos, and then people would ask to borrow the Trevor Robbins goalie pad.
Speaking of those hockey cards, sorry, we're
you're
sidetracked.
fine.
So mad.
The
But
crime
I remember
dog.
giving one. I used it in a real life situation once. I was at a party, and a guy asked if I wanted to do some cocaine, and I said no because I remembered my Mark Watton cop given hockey card, and it's like, if anyone ever approaches you to do drugs, just tell them you're in
They
training.
had those on the corner.
And I was like,
Man.
and I told him, I was like, no, I'm in training. And the guy that was out of his mind was like, all right, no
valid
problem.
excuse.
And he was okay.
The cards
and the party went
worked.
on. And
It
the card
worked.
The card worked.
McGriff, was it McGriff or McGruff? McGriff the crime dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude was telling the truth, man.
What do you think of that the quarter century team though? Did they nail it or no?
Pretty close. I think the one guy that's missing is Stephen Elliott on defense. To me, he would be there. Whether he's there instead of Mullendijk or is he there instead of Green, that's up for debate. I could go either way with Holtby or Meyer in goal. Up front, Josh Nichols has to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that Sidorov has to be there. I would almost look at a guy like Ryan Keller or Derek Kulak as possibly the left winger. Lizzo would be certainly in the mix as well. Who else would be?
Totally forgot about Ryan Keller.
That's a big name.
I'm not gonna. He's on a list that we have, but you know what's
We got a
funny?
bunch
We
of
didn't do a
lists.
25-year list. We kind of expanded to all-time list, but yours would be 25-year for
Yeah.
sure. One guy that Devin Setaguchi. I don't want to call the guy out,
No.
but it's just like, has anyone seen that Artemi Panarin?
Panarin, yeah.
Panarin, sorry, back-checking video that's going around.
It's bad.
Yeah.
When I went and watched Setaguchi, and I was just like, I remember I just like watching this guy, and he's all hyped up, and he can shoot like in the corner. He can pick a spot, and it's in the net, right? He just great shot, great.
Snipes. He
Just
snipes.
snipes, not overly hard, but just unbelievable skill. But when I watched him, I was just like, either it's all natural. It just didn't translate. Just the effort, it didn't. The try doesn't seem to translate. And I'm like, this guy doesn't seem like he's trying, and I wasn't impressed. And then someone's like, well, how many points did he have tonight? Well, he had 4.
Yeah,
So,
like he was sick. He was so good. Like,
He was a one-trick pony. He was tremendous from the blue line, opposition blue line in.
yeah.
Beyond that, he may have had to have introduced himself to the goaltender at the end of the game. But that still doesn't detract away from the fact that in the 2006 playoffs, in the first round against Regina, he absolutely owned the Pats and got them advanced to the second round. Unfortunately, the worst thing that could have happened was he signed his contract with San Jose. Immediately afterwards, they go into the series with Medicine Hat, and then I think he had to introduce himself to the rest of his teammates because he was virtually a no-show in that second round, unfortunately. And that's too bad because I think that really left a bit of a bitter taste in the minds of feelings of a lot of Blades fans. It was so good in one round and then nothing really in the second round against Medicine Hat, which ended up being a 4-game sweep.
Yeah.
Man.
And I will take your credit. I'll take your word for it because
he was the man. I loved Setaguchi.
Seto-
When he got traded to
Seto
Prince
was fun.
George, I was devastated. I was like, oh man, this guy like. That was in a time where the Blades weren't getting those kind of guys, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of like a lull after the Hordachuk days and stuff like that. It was a little bit of a lull in the offense, and all of a sudden it's like, man, we got this Setaguchi guy who's just lighting it up. I love it.
But that was another one just like this year. where a lot of fans kind of go, okay, why did you trade away
Right.
Molendyk and you trade away Lazowski and you trade away Reich? They traded Setaguchi and got Stephen Elliott. They got Duncan Siemens. They got Dalton Thrower. They got
Big names.
3
guys,
huge cornerstones.
big-time players that ended up being big-time for that franchise for the 5 years between 2008 and 2013. So
Big returns.
that's what you're hoping for now, is that these deals that they've made, and you look at some of the guys they got. I really like Hayden Harsani. I think he's fun to watch. He's speedy. He's skilled. Hunter Lang is look up, way up. It's the friendly giant.
Yeah.
The thing
They're
is,
both
though,
17.
Lang is 18.
Lang's 18.
Harsani's 17. Jack Kachkowski went on a rush the other day in his home debut. Looks like he could be an offensive type defenseman at age 17. I'm waiting for Kasdan Matthews to step up and do something. I think he will as a 17-year-old. So I think they got the makings of a pretty good group. Not necessarily for this year. They're still in the mix. But next year, the year after that, man, I think they're going to be just okay. Yeah. They're going to be fine. And people shouldn't be so quick to jump down everybody's throats. I mean, could they have made another move? Okay, let's go really crazy. Is there alcohol in this thing?
No.
Okay, because maybe what I'm going to say here might think
fired. I love this.
People will think that I have. But, okay, what could they have done? They could have acquired from Kelowna, who are hosting the Memorial Cup next year. They're two big guys that got traded away, Andrew Crystal and Caden Price, who's from Saskatoon. And let's, while we're at it, get from Kelowna their first-round picks in 2025 and 26, and let's send them the first-round picks in 27 and 28, and let's send them 3 other players who play goal, defense, and forward. And also, let's send a few other extra draft picks in there just to sweeten it up and make sure it happens. And you don't trade Molendyk or Reich or Lazowski, and you go for it this year.
Yeah.
Could have done that. Could have done that.
As a fan, I'm very upset that you told me that.
They'd be
But
horrible. They
you'd
would be
still
so-
be horrible for years after that.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And everybody has to just go back to 2013, the
Oh,
fall
we
of,
remember that
through
with Shannon,
2018,
yeah.
and no playoffs.
My brother, for instance, doesn't follow the Blades that much or hockey at all anymore. And he had that question. He's like, so how big is the Bantam draft really? Like,
Very.
Right, that's you saying that. But for him, he's seeing my son that's 14 next year, so he won't be there. But if he's a 15-year-old, he's looking at his nephew and he's like, this guy's feet just grew from
There's no
size
way
to
a Bantam
size.
guy can make a difference. Yeah.
He's playing Fortnite with his 10-year-old cousin. He has his work ethics here and there are inconsistent. Some guys go at it hard at 14, don't get me wrong, and they have been. But how do you put so much stock into kids like that? And I understand there's experts on it, but he's like, how important it is really? Could they not miss out on the draft but find diamonds in the rough all over the country that missed that draft? That's his question.
I will just quote Brent McEwen, who was the GM of the Blades back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And his quote is, and pretty much every GM you ever talk to now in the Western Hockey League will echo this: if you do not do well drafting one year, that is like putting your team out for 4 seasons of hurt. If you miss out on 2 years in a row, that's like 7 years of hurt and not being very good. If that's what the experts are saying, I'm no expert when it comes to this, but when those guys who know what it's all about and are the ones in the draft rooms, and they figure that they can't make things happen if they don't have top quality picks and 12 top quality players coming from those picks, assuming they all make it. Of course, there's some that just don't, but the misses nowadays are a lot fewer than what they used to be. The drafting is so good and so precise amongst the teams now, compared to what it was 15 years ago, that you can really not afford to not be involved in the first round, second round, third round moving forward. Very few. I mean, Rowan Calvert's an 8th round pick. He's a 20-goal guy this year. Austin Elliott was an 11th round pick.
Max Hildebrandt.
Max Hildebrandt was Mr. Irrelevant almost in the one draft.
Those last names, are they related to anyone that's had careers though?
Not Elliott.
Calvert?
Not Calvert. That's his older brother played in Moose Jaw.
Right. So
And of course
I mean,
his
it's
dad
like-
played. So yeah.
So sometimes you can throw
Oh yeah.
a bone at. It's like, okay, this
Lottery
older
ticket
brother
on a guy who's
Yeah.
got that.
that's
Oh, yeah.
on it, and
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, we can maybe make something.
But
work
that
with
would have been
but-
like, it would have been 2016. Remember Lucas McKenzie?
Yes.
And again, this big second round pick because we didn't have any first round picks because of the Shen thing still. So we got like, but it was like, oh no, we got this diamond in the rough though. This Lucas McKenzie guy. He's big. He's physical. Yeah. It was every time watching him, we are just like, when is it gonna
Go.
happen?
Yeah,
When's
when's
he
it
gonna
gonna go?
take that next
And
step?
it-
Might
And he
well
never
click.
did.
And it
right?
never did. And he
And
got
that's the thing.
traded to Portland, and
Exactly.
it didn't happen there either,
So that's the thing.
unfortunately.
You
He
can
was such a
hope for
good
these-
kid.
You can sit there and hope for diamonds in the rough to kind of develop, but like sometimes they just don't. And then sometimes just the bona fide prospects are bona fide for a reason because they're just legit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But they're also draft capital or their value. So it's like this guy was drafted at this time, so someone saw something in him, and you can maybe trade him away down
Yep.
the line. So
Absolutely.
I get it. It's crazy talking about that with kids.
It's nuts.
We haven't even got to this.
And
thing.
I know
We
this
got
is
like
what I'm
8
saying.
minutes. This
We
is-
got to get you guys out of here right away. Do you want to just go with one of these teams? He's
Let's
done
go
so
with-
much work on these.
Let's
No,
go
you-
with Les's team because we'll go 12 forwards
Mm-hmm.
off the top of your dome. Past 25 years.
You're gonna do
Wow.
that to him right now? You can't do
yeah,
that.
no,
to
I
him.
love this.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Guys-
we'll do 6D. We'll do 2 goalies, and it won't be a problem. That's what's amazing.
I think I might go the other way. We'll start goal. We'll say
Yeah,
Meyer and
okay.
Holtby. Defense, we'll go Elliott, Mollendijk. We'll go Green, Delagorjandier,
Nice.
Duncan Siemens, and Darren Dietz.
Charlie Wright
Deets.
gets snubbed. My boy.
I like Charlie Wright too. Yeah, he'd be right there. He'd be the 7th guy. Forwards. Okay. Well, we'll go with the line from most recent, and that would be Wong, Sidorov, and Lazowski. That's an easy one. Another decent one would be to have Nichols, along with Hulak and Keller. Another one would be to have. I'd like Stransky in there. I like. Oh boy, Stransky, Marek Viadensky.
Hey, no
I've got
influencing.
Sido in there.
Seto.
Oh, yeah, Setaguchi. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Setaguchi. No, you're right. You're right.
We're gonna get him off the team.
No, you don't get him off the team. I mean, one-way guy, but
You
very
can't-
talented
you've got
one-way
him on-
guy.
My argument is you got him on line 3, and he's not gonna do that. He's got a top 6 guy.
Okay,
He's either in
we
or
don't
out.
have
He might
time.
be.
We
He
don't
might
have
be.
time.
He
Come
might.
on.
He might be a top 6 guy. We might have to drop one of the top 6 down.
Fair enough.
Kulak
Okay.
could be dropped down
All
to
right.
being on the
Kulak
third
will
line.
play for him.
Fourth liners now, like real fourth liners.
Do whatever you want.
Oh,
It's
okay,
fine.
because a real fourth liner line would be like Nick Zajac and Brett Stoven.
Great one.
Riley McKay in there, maybe.
Riley
too.
McKay would be a
Yeah.
good one in there, just because you want to have the rough and tumble type of thing. Yeah, those would
But
be
you just did it.
those would be
So you
12.
just did it.
That's crazy.
So that's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
And that was in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that was good. Like that was supposed to be the precipice for
Oh,
the whole
my
talk.
brain hurts now.
After we did the bobblehead, that was supposed to do like 20 minutes right there. You did in 3.
Well, we did the fire show. We could have expanded.
That's
on
pretty
talking
good.
about it. But now you know it's beautiful. You have a list made.
Which
and you
one?
can-
Which one do we want to go with? And just so you know,
Your-
I haven't been disrespecting everyone. I have the list on my phone. That's why this phone is on. Normally, I hate when
that's
people
fine.
have phones out.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
when
do
your
your
list's on.
connections one.
My connections one. Okay,
So-
and then you
so
can do the rough
between-
drop one.
So we, for the most part, this is the past 25 years, but essentially we backed and forth a little bit on some players that we had personal connections with.
Ah.
So whether, spoiler alert, I was biking as a child past this condo one day and would be like, "Hi, Brent, Ashton." Right?
Oh.
Or, you know what I mean? And he'd be like, "Hey, boys, this is the 4th time you've driven by and said hi."
So we're gonna do
Oh,
the
well.
connections. That's
Do
what we're
your
doing.
Connections one and see,
Okay.
see what.
Well, no, because we have to
your
explain the
reaction is.
connections. That's what makes it interesting. Because everyone has these connections, and that's
Mm.
the beauty of it. So for Team Gary Connections, he calls it. Bernie Federico.
Yeah.
Now Bernie's brothers are like uncles to our best buddy Scotty. And Scotty's kid, he does a piece of review show here now, Asher, Slice by
nice.
Slice with Asher. So he's been buddies with the Federicos forever. Bernie was always his favorite player
Sure.
because they were all family friends, so he grew up with him. Brent Ashton, because you drove by on your bike. Dan Lear.
Dan Lear.
Danny
Lear.
Lear, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's a coach played Huskies, was a coach of mine or whatever,
Yeah.
and he was brought in when he was much younger and
For sure.
great guy.
Garrett Prasowski.
Yeah, well,
Krasowski,
there's a good one, sure.
yeah, played ball with him.
Yeah. Bembridge.
Garrett Bembridge.
Yep.
Bembridge was out to some of the fundraisers we did for our buddy
Doobie.
Doobie for
Yep.
his floor, or I guess it was a floor hockey fundraiser for a cancer awareness thing. We pick a family.
Right yeah, the Silkamana Classic.
The Sycamore.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
where Sue
Bembridge,
Gigglefritz-
Okay.
there was a gimmick. There was always a team, not on purpose, that would win, but we would all enter our teams, and then
I didn't even think of that. We had
Scott McQueen,
Queener on there,
Oh,
Goche's
Queener.
on there, yeah.
Goche's on the team, but
Roger
Goche
Ryan
was
Goche.
dad.
Roger McQueen's dad.
Yeah, that's right. Roger
and
McQueen's dad.
So it wasn't always Hulak's brother Dan would come out
Dan,
and play,
sure.
and then and they had 1 year as Bembridge, so they'd always show up, and it's just like, well,
Super
there's no hope in hell that
So
we're gonna
As
beat
the guy
these
that was
guys.
running it, I got to be on that team, so I was getting passes from all these guys. I
Yeah.
scored the game winner one year. It was amazing.
Nice.
Cool connection.
Nice.
Yeah, as the worst hockey player out there. It was awesome. Okay, we got to keep going through this. Michael Bubnick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
There's
I
all kinds
coach
of
against him in
Bubnicks.
baseball
Yeah.
right now.
There's a
and
lot of
his kid's
baseball
a really
connections
good
here. Yeah.
athlete,
Warren
so.
Peters.
Warren Peters was
Tough.
tough kid.
Yeah.
You played against
Boy,
him
I did.
briefly.
Can I
Yeah.
change out and put him in? Because he actually played till
correct.
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. He's
So
in.
he'd be in.
Perfect.
I mean, I'd definitely have Warren Peters.
Avid, probably frequent watcher, I'm guessing.
Ryan Keller.
Ryan Keller's on there. He
Wilkie
made it.
Outlaw legend.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a connection through the boys from Al Anderson's.
Yeah.
They're kind of, and he had stock, some of his old sticks he put that
Yep.
he used in the HL were there, and I bought one and I have it, and it's a tank. Like technology's gone so far. Like I think at one point it was light, but now sticks weigh nothing,
Yeah,
and
they
they're
do.
so whippy.
Yeah.
And I go and try and show kids how to shoot this thing, and it's like 110 flex, and so I was like, okay, I'll put that in the garage.
Trent Adamas.
Yeah, brothers with Ryan, who runs the Crushers, who is
Yes.
the Crushers junior hockey program that we won for
Yep.
run for spring hockey. So that's a connection.
Okay, we're going to speed this up here. No, Corey Sarich. We're going to move to defense.
Friends with your older brother, my older brother.
Yep. Ryan Gaucher. Ryan Gaucher, fun fact, he was the reason the Nickel family first bought our season tickets.
Oh, nice.
Because the Gauchers and the Nichols have been family friends forever. And then
Nice.
once he was there, and then again, the epitome of being so talented and just not having the size. Like
Yeah.
everywhere that guy went, he put up numbers.
Yeah, he
It's
did.
crazy. So
I would
shout
say
out
the
to Gauche.
charity, ball hockey, and street hockey and
Yep.
shinny tournaments that we had, he would show his strength.
Yeah.
And he'd absolutely dominate us.
Very
and
fun.
show
Yeah.
No mercy.
It was
whatsoever.
me, Queener's brother Rennie, and Ghost. And so like I just go stand out front and they like bank goals in off. It was
And
great.
foreshadowing,
Derek Endicott.
Derek Endicott.
Derek.
Yes, Endo, Derek, and Shaner, closest friends forever. Love those guys. We used to play at lunchtime. We'd go to their house because it was right close to Aiden Bowman, and we'd all play shinny in the back. And because I was like the worst hockey player by far of everyone, so they would just put me in goal with a snow shovel, and I would like the shovel was legendary. We always say it wasn't me; it was just the shovel. It was like its own thing, but I was stopping everyone. So the shovel was a legend with the Endicotts over their place. Scott McQueen, Queener again. You were talking about Roger. Do we have an update on his?
Scott played
No,
for what,
he's-
7
no?
games, I think.
Yeah, he had a-
but
he had a
he
taste.
still makes it.
Oh, he played. Absolutely, he played.
Yeah.
Sure.
They have anything on Roger? He's still
Still
touch
a
and go?
little ways away.
Yeah.
I think they're hoping sometime middle of February, but we'll see.
And that's so crazy. Like I saw, even still, he's still in like top 20 rankings
Yeah,
or something
well,
for the draft.
he's
Like
good.
He's
so
6'5"
when he's out
and
there, he
skilled.
goes, yeah. And an absolute sweetheart of a human being too.
He's-
A nice kid.
I love
yeah.
him. When they won the Helenka, I had his number. I was gonna get him in here to bring his medal in, but I forgot because I'm an idiot. But I do have his. I do want to get him in here to show that off.
Yeah.
Chris.
He is a great guy. I went to he was training with my cousin Kelly, and I brought my son in there to do some rotator cuff work on our way to ball. And he, after their workout, just migrated over to us and just like, hey, how's it going? And oh, where are you guys going? Oh, I love baseball. Bit too busy with hockey, but yeah, just like he will interview unreal.
Oh, he
after
did.
game. Yeah.
I've had the opportunity. He was phenomenal one night in Brandon last year. So
I'll
Great
humble this kid. He was just hounding me when I was the instant announcer. for
Also
the
a
Blades.
Trumpy
"Ah,
family
give me free-
friend."
Give me
Yeah.
free stuff. Give
Yeah.
me free stuff. Give
That's
me
it.
I know your uncle.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, your friend's my uncle.
So fun. Chris McAllister.
Lurch,
Here you go.
wonderful. Love Lurch.
Mike Babcock.
Oh yeah, Babs.
And then now we're getting into goaltenders.
He's a D-man.
Goaltenders.
Yes,
We
he
needed
was.
a D-man.
Michael Garnett.
The guy.
Mikey
Yeah.
Garnet, the Garn Dog, been a friend since he was a Knight dude. Since he played for the Knights and I was a Bobcat.
Where's he
Him and
hanging
Tight.
his shingle now?
Calgary.
Because
He's in
man's-
Calgary.
Is he,
Good
in
friends with
Calgary?
Andrew Beckler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 This is the most name dropped. Like,
This is
half
that's the
hour
whole
of
point of
YouTube
this. Is
in
we,
the world,
but that's
by
it
the
though,
way.
you guys. That's
I mean-
what we're getting across here. Is we all have connections
Yeah.
to this team, and I don't mean like the players individually. Like this team brings these players into our lives, and that's what makes us so cool.
But Garney and his wife are doing so much good work
Yeah.
on behalf of people, going out
Absolutely.
and volunteering and going out and helping people out in need. I mean, salute to you
Yeah.
two for just doing that. That's
So
phenomenal.
sweet. He would hit me up at the radio station when I was still over there, like, "You're my first interview, bro. You're my first interview. I want to
Yeah.
go with you."
Sure.
Like, he's so loyal and such a great
that's
dude.
good.
I'm working on getting him in here. So Garney, I'm going to be giving you a call here soon. The great Tim Chevelday. Chevy, my
Chevy.
boy. He's in our fantasy football draft every year, our high stakes draft. And Chevy was he still is so good, but lately he's been a little bit. So I'm in this draft. There's eight teams. Chevy and Queener are both in the draft.
Nice.
Queener has the worst team on planet Earth to the point that he might be getting kicked out because he's so
Oh,
bad.
no.
And Chevy's like on the opposite end.
Yeah,
So-
of course he is.
And Chevy and I, we always play on because we play a game of golf because it's an auction draft, and whichever team wins gets an extra $10 worth of auction money. And Chevy and I were always on the same team. This year he was the MVP of that tournament.
Chevy, quick story, does everything at high speed. He and I walked Moon Lake, played 18 holes at Moon Lake one time, and did it in 2.5 hours. I mean, if we hit a ball out of bounds or lost it, we didn't bother to go find it. We would just
course.
drop one down and hit. But he was just take off, and I mean, I'm striding, trying to keep up with him. Holy smoke, 2.5 hours. It was wonderful.
I want to say
wonderful.
that's impressive because it is. However, I used to work at the Willows Golf and Country Club.
Yeah.
And
me
I'd have the
too.
morning shift, and there would be a lovely lady,
Oh, no,
one
here
of
he
the
goes.
sweetest person of all time, that would just be coming up over the hill, and it would be 7:45, and they let people out there at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was Gary's mom, and she would rip in an hour and 45 minutes, 18. It's Willows, so
Yeah.
your course is a little bit more terrain filled, but that's impressive.
Yeah, it is
She doesn't even
impressive.
care about scores. She just cares about time. She's
How
like a
many good
speed runner
shots?
for golf.
Counts how many good shots. you
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
and
fine.
and even now to this day, she's already booked. Every year she's the first group out. Every
Nice.
year. Whenever
That's
the course
wonderful.
opens, she's the first one out there. It's
That's
crazy. She
wonderful.
loves getting out.
Good, good.
Okay, you guys, I know you got to go. We got to get you back to work. I just wanted to get all that out there. It's been
Yeah.
great going down memory lane with you.
I love memory lane.
Congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
bobblehead
That's
night.
very kind
Again,
of
this Friday, it's going down. And if you're lucky enough, you can head on up after the game and see if you can get an autograph on there. And just make sure you don't sell it on the eBay because those are going to be going for thousands of dollars. I'm very pumped for you, dude.
Thousands of pennies.
Either way,
and Croker
going for
just- yeah,
something.
Just sitting there. Just,
And yes, to you too as well, Maze.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being our producer and setting all this up. It's fantastic and doing all the homework for me. Croker, you've been here a million times. Your family here, we love you, and I'm very disappointed that you're not here more. I understand you're the greatest morning show host in the history of radio, so I get it. You're a busy guy.
We're
You're
happy
also
to
doing
have him
all
there.
your other stuff, and yeah, he's. I look at him as a member of this family all the time. So you're always welcome here. You know that. We will have to do something maybe on Super Bowl next week because all of our NFL talk, we
I
look
know.
dumb yet again.
I know.
We did.
Our NFL preview might go down as the worst NFL preview of all time.
Who did you
I'm
have
ready
in the
for you.
Who
I've
did
had
you
a
have
lot
in the
of-
final?
No, we had the Bengals. I think Bengals versus might have been I don't know Bucks or something. I don't know. It was
So
horrible.
this is before the season
Yeah,
started.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And I had money on
That's fine.
Atlanta and Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, which I thought was it was looking really good for a
It
while.
was
then
for a
went
while, yeah.
horribly. But those were my two picks.
I might have been listening to your guys' show that time, and we have a staff thing where it's like, I don't know, you just pick winners every week or whatever.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, like
And I
pick 'em
just,
pool.
rather than doing it each week, I know I'll forget at work, so I just did the whole year. And based on these two guys' conversation, I might have had the Falcons going undefeated this year.
Nothing wrong with that.
Kirk Cousins? Come on.
Oh,
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, they couldn't
Oh.
even keep Kirk as a starter. Man.
terrible.
They had to bring in Penix, and they
I
still
know.
almost snuck it.
Oh,
Crazy stuff. Anyways, boys, I love and appreciate all you so much. Thank you for stopping by.
Gary.
And again, best of luck with everything, dude, as we move forward. You guys, this has been a fantastic, fantastic conversation. So thank you again.
Go Blades, go.
See, that's what it's all about right there. I was talking to the boys earlier. We got LB and Dragon in here, so they're getting ready for another amazing episode of The Viewing Room. New episodes out every Tuesday, by the way. I was saying there's got to be damn near like 70 years worth of radio experience in the city in that table right there, which is pretty damn cool. So thank you again to Les and Croker and to Maze for an incredible, amazing conversation about not just the Blades this season, but the Blades over the last quarter century and even further. As we all have stories. We all have stories about growing up with this team. So that was very, very cool. Big thank you to our good buddy, Matt Young from CTV, as he joins us every Thursday. Always a lot of fun to check in with him as we will complete that two-part series of how to make sure Gary has no excuses when he loses to Dragon playing Smash Bros. Anymore. Fixing controllers, basically. You always say, it's the controllers. So it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. Tomorrow's going to be, it's Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. We'll have a Friday roundtable going on. I believe the Past Our Bedtime podcast ladies will be in the house doing some trivia. So that will be very, very fun. Looking forward to that as Hardcore and Brooksy will be here along with some other special guests, I imagine. Look at that. New episodes every Tuesday. Your viewing room banner came up. I like this. Check those guys out. They say they are the best show on the internet. Definitely the best show on the network anyway. So with that in mind, again, the other big news of the day, Max Scherzer signing with your Toronto Blue Jays. 1 year, $15 million deal. John Heyman put that out there from the New York Post today. So the Blue Jays looking like they're shoring up that rotation as we get ready for baseball. So close. Spring training is in like 3 weeks. I know. It's crazy, the baseball schedule. Oh, what else do we got going on? I will say this. I want to give a lot of love to our sponsors here again and our advertisers like our friends at Deneb Finishing Carpentry who put up the tooth booth right here. Shout out to Dr. Hausman and Associates, the Big Tooth on 2nd Ave, and many, many more. If you want social media stuff, Winnie Brooks Media, also very, very good. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Make sure you take some time for yourself and, continue to make the world a better place. We say it all the time. Karma is so real. Keep doing those good things and they'll start happening to you, and that's how we make the world a better place, all right? You take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night. Love you so much.